तापसी को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है. तापसी, आपको भागने की आदत पड़ गई है, but I would say out of breath but not out of choices.
I'm spoiled for choices actually. So yeah, I keep running. I run behind them, but I'm spoiled for choices.
Yeah, true that. And Tahir, as I said, आपको तो अब हम मिलते ही जा रहे हैं. So, what were your reasons to come on board? I will ask Taapsee and discuss the film later with Aakash. Your reasons for coming on board as Satya, who's described as the useless boyfriend in the film.
Just because he was such an exciting part on paper. I've never done romance as a genre before, but just even as a definition of a romantic hero, he was just so different and out of the box. He's vulnerable, he's romantic, he leads with the heart, but very often in that gesture of romance is when he starts to goof up, and even in trying to repair those goof ups and sort of overcome his obstacles, he just messes it up even further, which is what makes him absolutely erratic and unpredictable, but also lovable at the same time. And it was just, I knew it would be a challenge to play when I read it, and I'm excited to see how people respond to it.
And now coming to Taapsee, so, the actor who had headlined the character of Lola, she had said when she got this on paper, she was like, interesting, but how do you do this? So when they came to you to play Savi, what was your reaction? Bhakti to aap bahut acha hai.
No, I said instantly yes after hearing the script. I mean, the technical department mera nahi hai. So I just hear the script as an audience or as an actor कि मेरे लिए exciting होगा कि नहीं करना, ये चीजें देखनी होती हैं. वो मेरे को लगी सही जबरदस्त. And when they told me that they are reaching out to Aakash, it's the producers who sent me his work, whatever he had done in ad world and all, I understood that this probably is going in the right hands, because that kind of crazy, wacky world is required for this sort of a film. So it was probably the best idea to give it to Aakash.
So Franca had said all that she did in Run Lola Run was she just had a pair of Doc Martens, and she apparently smoked 2 packs of cigarettes through the duration, and that's all she did. What was it like you? Because you are also just running constantly.
No, I just had that uniform that they gave me and I had to wear that every day and just run. Yeah, so it was pretty boring to get ready every day in that for like, I don't know, 40 odd days or 35 odd days in the same look. And then just Goa mein to 2 hafte ke liye roz uth ke chalo uth gaye ab bhago, chalo uth gaye ab bhago. So wahi kara hai maine. So that was quite exhausting. I couldn't afford to be on cigarettes. I don't think I would have run that much.
True. And Aakash, they say chaos makes for great cinema, and Loop Lapeta has its moments of chaos. So why did you decide to adapt Run Lola Run? Because after Run Lola Run, not many have attempted that format.
I mean, I wasn't the one who decided to do this. This film came to me with a work in progress draft, and then we further worked on that. I think the intention of the producers and anybody else who has been involved on the project was to not make a remake out of this and make a completely original film based off a great concept that the Run Lola Run had, and I think that is what made it a lot more exciting. That we had the width to play with, we had the length and breadth to play with, and make a completely fresh film, but do it for an Indian audience, make it Indian and not desi, so to speak, and that's something that gave us great joy in even working on the screenplay, working on the design and the treatment, etching out the performances of all the players in the film. So yeah, that's what made us all excited about this.
And now this is to all of you. What I liked the fact was there is one narrative, but it's got 3 possible endings. And for actors, what was that like? Because you are in a way replaying those scenes, but slightly differently. And it's not linear, because usually you have those runnings, when you're running, it's linear. It's not linear here.
Everything was chaotic that way for me to shoot, to do this, because we used to shoot obviously location wise, right? And every location was explored 3 different times and in 3 different ways and with 3 different emotions. And every time the things that you have to keep in mind kept on increasing. because the second time over, you have to not only keep in mind what all has happened in the second loop before this, but also what had happened the first time over, so you don't repeat that same thing again. So it used to be quite a challenge, I think, from both me and Aakash to make sure that all three runs look different, because eventually you need to tell a new type of a story with the three runs. They're all like individually three different stories, but with the same players, with the same locations. So yeah, so that became quite a we were always very cautious कि अच्छा कुछ भूल तो नहीं गए कुछ मतलब did we just that part of it we need to reflect in the run. We need to reflect even like a basic run. You need to reflect if it's in the first time, second time, or third time. तो run का भी emotion अलग होना चाहिए. So that was quite a hectic job to do mentally for all of us.
I'm sure. Tahir, what about you?
My character Satya had a different set of challenges because unlike Savi, he didn't know that the loops were happening again and again. Like my character is not aware that it's happening for the second time, but the actor, like me, I know that it's happening, and it's all shot on the same day because it's all location specific. So if you have one location, we're going to be doing it 3 times, and that's where direction and conversations with Aakash come into play of how you react differently each time while your character doesn't know that it's happening for the second time or the third time. And it was just interesting because it was an acting exercise, because that's something that you would do in acting school, is how do you say the same line but with a little more intensity or with a little less love or with a little more anxiety. And it's great because when you see them back to back is when you actually get the final picture of that variation.
So I want to ask you, since here is how one moment can change the entire narrative and you can go back and erase something and redo it again. So I want to ask you, what is that one moment in your life that you would want to do that? Go back, change it, redo it.
एक तो जो इस तरह की चीजें होती है ना जो which I have to like which didn't go right. I end up erasing it out of my memory very soon. And the ones that stay, I चाहे उस time पे सही ना हुई हो, because like there's so many things that I wanted to do. I never wanted to act. I wanted to actually first do IIT, which नहीं हुआ. I wanted to do my MBA from a good B school, वो नहीं हुआ. So every time I failed, those were the things I felt the worst about. But today I look back at it and I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's good that didn't happen. So those things which I really want to erase probably or want to undo are already erased out of my memory. So I don't even have memory of them anymore.
So, I mean, if you were to go back and become a B school graduate and a CEO, how different would it be?
It would be very different. I'm sure I would have enjoyed that also, because that was my plan from the beginning to do that. So I wouldn't have been here talking to you, but that also would have been a good life. I hope, I believe, I wanted to do that.
Would have deprived the world of Taapsee Pannu, the actor, though, no?
Yeah, that deprived, मतलब के industry same नहीं रहती हमारी तो, by God.
I know, imagine you have a point there, Aakash. What about you, Tahir?
What would I would just probably go back to the first year of having been in Bombay, because there's like a lot of restlessness, there's a lot of questions that you have, and would I wouldn't say erase it, but like to let that person know that there can be different outcomes to that situation and that you will get the best one that's possible.
So which was the most enjoyable of the 3 scenarios that we have, that you know, and the characters that Savi and Satya meet during as she's running and her encounters, which was the most enjoyable for you?
For me, it would be the third one because of the obvious outcome of that one. I wouldn't want to give a spoiler, but it was also that there was like there was like a romanticism in that last one, which I think is what, if I was to look at an overall objective for Satya's character, that would be it. And I mean, I wouldn't want to give out more spoilers, but I would encourage everyone to watch out for that third run. After having seen the first 2, don't forward it.
For me, I know what Aakash's answer will be, so I'll manipulate my answer that way. actually, it was the first one because I come across different people for the first time. So that's exciting to, first time encounter the situations or the problems that you're going to encounter in the loop. But if you talk about performance wise, there was obviously more meat in performing the second one.
So now the viewers are going to wonder हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं. Akash, now you tell me, since she has.
No, for me, I think I've said this. This entire film is a loop for me. It can exist in multiple ways as well. But just to sort of write and direct something, the excitement of taking the main protagonist and letting her flaws come out to the world, where she is the worst possible version of herself, and she is the least progressive person in the room in some instances. Those are the kind of things that writing them were very interesting, putting them together were very interesting, and extracting and working with Taapsee to let Savi behave like that when when an audience member is rooting for you, but then we're hoping that the character is not letting them root for you in that moment, and that sort of dichotomy and the flawed sort of perspective on that is what made it fun for me to direct in the second loop.
So, I mean, which was that one moment that defined the film for you, all three of you, when you were planning to make it and when you were doing it, the most defining moment?
The most defined by that, do you mean like when we felt like we were in it?
We're doing something different because we haven't seen this format as such on screens here.
I sort of realized
that is interval. Interval up to hai nahi iske andar. That for me was interval. After the first one, when you come back to the bathroom and what happens there and how she realizes what's happening was like the moment for me to say, okay, wow, this is exciting.
Are you anything like Savi? वैसे तापसी कुछ है?
Sorry?
Are you anything like her?
Only one thing, yeah. Not really that romantic and mushy person. That's all.
Anji, Tahir.
I sort of had got the vibe on day one when we were, and we shot it, at least for my character, linear in the sense that the opening scene where he meets Savi for the first time was the first thing that I shot. And there was just something about the way that it was lit, which was not the conventional kind of lighting that I've seen on a film set. And of course, there's Mr. Bhatia himself that definitely on day one gives you the impression that things are not going to be the standard. And it's the team that he brought together. It was the fact that it was Akash's first film, that it was Yash Khanna, the DOP's first film. And there was just like a different new energy to it that you felt the minute you met these guys.
True. And also, as in Taapsee, since last time both had meat, I will never look at meat the other way, and now it's chicken. So I think I'm just going to turn pure vegetarian. So Akash, tell me. Turkey. Sorry. Why do you do this, Taapsee? And anyway, she's got the hit formula also. She's got a cop in it. Taapsee ki har picture mein cop hona chahiye, and it works.
मैं कोर्ट पे नहीं गई हूँ इस बारी, प्लीज नोट किया जाए, मैं कोर्ट पे नहीं घुसी हूँ, कोर्ट के सामने से भी नहीं भाग के निकली हूँ मैं.
No, but she's got the cop angle. And Akash, but it's a very tricky format, this one, and like I was in a Loop Lapeta myself while watching it. Like for a moment, I was like, am I in a quantum universe? What is happening here now?
I mean, see, the challenge of a film like this is in the making of it, It's in the choices that the entire crew comes together and makes. And I think to keep something fresh and then subvert it after it's already been seen, and then, reference itself and then subvert it even more. That's what makes it a lot of fun. And I think in the acting, in the way, if the characters are behaving differently, then the storytelling has to sort of evolve in that moment as well, and I think that's something that we were cognizant of from the first day, and even through our short division and our prep and all that. This film has to be told with a sense of its own reference, but it has to keep giving something new to the audience, and that's something that the entire crew, the technical team, the actors really bought into and made it a lot more engaging for us.
True. And Taapsee, another thing, as I said, I've been meeting you consistently with gaps over 3 months, let's say, on these 2 years. Now the question is, yesterday I was reading someone's comment, is there something that Taapsee can't do? अभी आप आंसर कर दो ये सवाल मेरे लिए.
मैं जैसी मिलेगा मुझे मैं वो भी कर लूंगी.
कॉन्फिडेंस की कमी नहीं है.
कॉन्फिडेंस पे दुनिया कायम है मेरी.
But honestly, what pushes you? If I was to give you a choice and you were to just pick one: director, script, and the length of your role. Just one you can pick up, and the
Director.
other two might not live up to.
Director.
So
I don't even
have
have to
pressure
think.
on your Aakash.
A director can lift an average script also, and obviously director can spoil the best of scripts also. It's director's medium, so it has to be director first.
Tahir, what about you?
Yeah, I would have to go with the same thing, because the length of your part is inconsequential if it's got not the best director and the best script. But like, if I had to pick one, it would have to be the director.
Okay.
I would pick the director as well.
That's a great choice, Aakash. Yeah.
You wouldn't pick the actors for you.
What he's trying to say is he'd pick himself.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you gave it Loop Lapeta, because it could have been Bhag, Savi, Bhag. It could be Savi, Satya on the Run. How did this whole Loop Lapeta come? And it's interesting. I like the title.
I mean, I think, again, like, we were making a film that's been made, and any reference of that in its title would also take away from the new set of eyes and ears that have come to make the film. We are trying to make an original film. And for us, the idea of loop was a stronger sort of theory with which the story played itself out. And the character is stuck in a loop ka lapeta, and she has to break out of it. So therefore it made sense. And also something that's sticky, alliteration is a thing that we were working with. And somewhere in the name, we thought it'd be nice to give a little homage to the original. So loop ka first two letters and la ka first two letters say Lola in some way. So, that's a little thing that we thought would be fun to put in there.
आपके दोनों एक्टर से पूछना चाहती हूँ, उनके जिंदगी का कौन सा लूप लपेटा था, या कोई चल रहा है लूप लपेटा जिससे निकलना चाहते हैं?
नहीं, अभी ये सिर्फ लॉकडाउन वाला जो है ना, मुझे उससे निकलना है. साल शुरू होता है ठीक ठाक, फिर लॉकडाउन हो जाता है, फिर उसके बाद वी आर ट्राइंग टू गेट बैक इनटू ग्रुप. जैसे ही ग्रुप में आते हैं उसके बाद फिर केसेस बढ़ जाते हैं. फिर ये 2 साल से हो रहा है, ये तीसरा लूप है अभी. आई जस्ट होप कि ये यहाँ से निकल जाए हम.
Totally. It is actually replaying like your film only, Loop Lapeta. Same thing. Kirdar same hai, which is true. And Tahir and Taapsee, Tahir, I want to ask you, what was it like working with this lady? The T factor, the T quotient jo hai aapki picture.
Double T quotient tha na isme to.
Mind blasting experience. मतलब हम बेस्ट है. मेरा भी एक्सपीरियंस माइंड ब्लोइंग था, इसका भी माइंड ब्लोइंग था. अभी हम एक दूसरे की तारीफ ही करेंगे ना यहाँ पे पूजा. अभी हम दूसरे को गाली थोड़ा देंगे यहाँ पे एक दूसरे को, ऑब्वियसली.
पर आपको पता है ना, ताहिर तापसी के लिए क्या कहते हैं, इसको हीरो की जरूरत नहीं है, खुद ही हीरो, हीरोइन, विलेन सब कुछ है पिक्चर की.
यार ऐसे मत बोलता है यार, तो फिर हीरो काम नहीं करेंगे मेरे साथ में, तो वैसी बड़ी परेशानी होती है.
नहीं, बट एक चीज आई वाज वेरी फॉर्चुनेट ऑफ, इससे पहले पिक्चरों में या तो मतलब हीरोइन को मैंने धमकाया है या किडनैप करवाया है, यहाँ पर हीरोइन मुझे बचा रही है. सो दैट्स लाइक that's an amazing thing.
I like the fact that another aspect I like is she is the savior here. She is the one who's just driving the show. She needs no one to save her, but she's saving them all.
Yeah.
मैं खुद को बचा लूं इसके साथ साथ, वही बहुत बड़ी बात है.
आपको बचने की क्या जरूरत है, बचे हुए हो आप.
बच गई, शुक्र है मुझे नहीं मारा.
Spoiler.
No, हाँ वो तो लोगों को देखना पड़ेगा. So what is it, quickly we'll just wrap up, what is it that one thing that you didn't like about your characters, Tahir and Taapsee?
Didn't like.
That would mean you judged your character. I don't think either these actors judge their character.
So it's not what I didn't like, it's probably what the audience will not like is his indecision. But I honestly like that, because if he was decisive, then the story would have ended in 15 minutes. He would never have left. Okay, I can't say more.
Taapsee, aap batao.
I didn't like means the thing what Taapsee didn't like about Savi is his choice of guy. मतलब
ये लो, तापसी ने तो पिक्चर शुरू होने से पहले ही खत्म कर दी.
मतलब कि वो इतना ज्यादा इतना बड़ा झोलर बंदा, मतलब कैसे हो सकती है रिलेशनशिप सक्सेसफुल ये?
But in real life, would you go the way that Savi does all the way to do this? Put herself.
No, I would have done that for the guy I'm with, but I wouldn't have been with this kind of a guy who I know has tendency to do stuff like this. That is the difference.
If you could put out one thing on a billboard, what would it be?
About the
On a
character.
billboard, an announcement, what would it be?
यार पहले बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसे, ये कैसा क्वेश्चन है पूजा? मतलब दिस इज लाइक
She's asking you to make choices, Taapsee.
वही तो
I would have written an essay. नहीं, मैं सोचने दे. I would have just said कि just be kind. मतलब मुझे और कोई चीज अभी ऐसे बिलबोर्ड पे लगाने में दिमाग में आ नहीं रही है. If everyone to read once every day, it should be like just be kind. You don't know what the other person might be going through, so just be kind.
Okay, Tahir, what about you?
It has to be about the film or just like in
Anything,
life?
something you want on the billboard. It could be about the film. About
I make it about the film. Please make it about the film.
अरे सब तो पिक्चर देख रहे हैं.
What? So now you want a billboard that is about art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable.
अब ये this is a Loop Lapeta.
Yeah, so it's a loop and it's talking about the film and it's billboard worthy. There you go, 3-in-1 answer.
Anyways, thank you so much. अब तापसी आप किस चीज के पीछे भाग रही हैं? कि आप तो रेस्ट लेते नहीं हो.
इसके पीछे भाग रही हूँ. Just making sure के कोई good script shouldn't slip out of my hands. That's all. That's
it. There she says it. That's her breath. She's out of breath, but not out of choice. But anyways, honestly, thank you so much and for bringing this film. Ab dekhte how the audience also gets into this loop. And more power to the three of you. Yeah. And lastly, you shot this in the lockdown. That must have been
middle of it.
Yeah, that must have been like challenging.
I mean,
yeah.
The world was
it was challenging, but it also had its silver lining of we had spent like 3 months in the lockdown and then to go from your apartment straight to Goa and be fortunate enough to be doing something that you really love and at the same time providing that opportunity of work to 250 crew members. It was great.
Yeah.
तापसी वैसे आपका रिकॉर्ड टाइम है ना, पिक्चर लाइक व्हाट से 30 डेज में रैप कर देते हो यार. फॉर्मूला क्या बता दूं?
नहीं, ये लंबी थी. आकाश, how many days did we shoot for this?
42.
Yeah, this was quite a
अच्छा, मतलब 12 दिन का एक्सटेंशन.
धीरे-धीरे बढ़ रही है number of days for my films.
It's the shortest film that I've shot, strangely. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and looking forward to what the audience says. It's a nice Lapeta. While they were planning to make a sequel to Run Lola Run, can we expect one to Loop Lapeta? Any plans?
Are they planning to make a sequel?
They didn't make a sequel. They were planning to. They didn't.
I think this is an Aakash question. Aakash?
I won't.
I
want to make a new film now.
Yeah.
But I really feel like, as far as the technicalities go, it was probably the work of 3 films in 1 film for Aakash.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of out of all of us. We put everything that we know, everything that we've learned into the film. So I hope that it reflects and people like it. Yeah.
मैं भाग नहीं रही दोबारा, for sure.
Anyways, thank you so much. क्या पता यार हिट हो जाएगी, फिर announcement हो जाएगी, season 2 coming, season 3 coming. But anyways, we'll wait to watch.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.